Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. Now what we're going to be doing now is creating a web component that'll take each of our projects and generate a card. Okay, so what we're going to do is first we're going to do this in components.js, but what it's going to be is we're going to put that in my footer. We're just going to make a sample one, not in my footer, in section here, just to test it out, and we're just going to call it my card. That's going to be the name of the component, my card. Okay, and we'll adjust that as we go along. First thing, we just want to see if we can get that working. So if you haven't seen my videos on web components, you can look up my web component masterclass video. It'll give you much more depth than I'm going to be able to get into at this point, so you can see what I'm doing. But a component, essentially what you're doing is you're creating your own custom HTML tag, and you can do this with JavaScript. So the way we would do this is we create a class, and we'll say class my card extends HTML elements. We're creating a new class that extends this HTML element class. Okay, this class just automatically exists in JavaScript. It's just predefined in the browser. It just exists for the pure purpose of you creating new HTML elements. Okay, now I'm going to plan that we're going to pass the data from our project into this component, kind of as a property or as an HTML attribute. Okay, and whatever our properties again, it should be like name, get URL. Basically, actually there's 4 properties. So let's get those first. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a constructor, because that's what you always have to do, and a constructor always requires you to call super. That's just boilerplate, so if you're not quite sure what super does, it doesn't particularly matter. You just got to know that you always got to do it. The constructor is the function that always runs when a class is created. So every time you create an HTML tag for my card, it's going to run this constructor to construct that element on the screen. Okay, we're going to want to grab some variables, okay, because we're going to pretend, and we'll just do a test. We're going to have the name of our project here. So we'll say project 1. This is just going to be a dummy one just to see that this works. And then again, we'll have like a get URL. So we'll just say get as an example, and then the live URL equals live, just an example. Okay, and then we're also going to pass it the picture, which is going to say image, and we'll say image is image. Okay, we just want to see that we can get these things. Okay, so theoretically, this would be how we pass each project to our HTML. We'll create a card and pass these properties into it from the data from the Excel spreadsheet, and this is going to generate the card on the screen. So the first job is we want to get these 4 pieces of information, and the way we do that is we're going to say this. This refers to this component, so that means the my card HTML tag. So we'll say this dot get attribute, and then we just put in the name of the attribute we want to get, which is first is name. So we're going to create all these variables. Const name equals this dot get attribute. And we'll just do this for all 4 of them. Const, this next one is get, then it was live, then it was image, and then it was just name, get, live, image. And what this does is just saying check to see if the HTML tag has an attribute of this name, and if so, take the value and store it in this variable. Okay, so we're just grabbing our attributes. If you learn React or Vue or Angular later, you'll kind of know this pattern as props. You're passing properties to your component. Cool, that works for me. Okay, now first thing we're going to want to do is just see if it works. Okay, so we're going to just console.log. That's how we log things to the console. We're going to just log these variables, name, get, live, image, and see if we're actually getting them. Okay, so there's our component so far. Doesn't really do much other than get these variables, log them onto the screen. We need to actually register this class as an HTML tag. So we're going to do custom elements dot define And the first argument is the name of the HTML tag, which is my card. It always has to be 2 words. It's just the way this web component feature is built. That because that way you don't accidentally override existing HTML tags. So they always want to see like there's a dash in the middle and 2 words. So my card. Okay, let me just make sure that's what I put over here. My card, good. Okay. So my card. That's the name of the HTML tag, and then the second thing is a class that is linked to it. So it's going to say, hey, my card. My card. So whenever we use the my card HTML tag, it's going to use the my card class to determine what happens. So it's going to create an instance of this class. So right now all this class does is log these variables. So right now the only thing I should be able to see is that in the console, those 4 variables are being logged because, hey, I did use my card right here. So let's go back to our browser. Okay, here's the document right now. If I go to console in the DevTools, okay, and right now it's not grabbing the property. See, null, 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 null. Okay, so that means I'm not doing that right. Let me think about why that's not right, because the attributes are right there. Name, get. This dot get attribute. Why not? Okay. Let me double check. Let's do a quick Google. Whenever you run into something not working the way you think, let's just double check that you're doing it the right way. So let's see here. How to get attributes from web component. Okay. No, I get all that. Reflecting properties and attributes, blah, blah, blah. Not what I'm looking for. Yes, that's what we're doing. Value steps, make. My counter, yep, so this that increment. Where do we see the get attributes? This dot get attribute name. Let me think about why that'd be the case. If I think about this dot get attribute, and I'm saying get attribute name. The name of the attribute is on my card here. My card name. So we should get project 1. Get live and image. Why am I not getting those things? I mean, it's definitely detecting the element because we see the console log there. So it's definitely getting it. And if I take a look at elements, I go to here, and I go into my main, and I go to my section. There's the my card tag. ¿Por qué? And the attributes are definitely there. We see them. And I think there's also a get attributes function, so let me just double check that. JavaScript get attributes. Add attributes. Let's console log that as well. So let's go back to our components just to test this out again. So again, troubleshooting is important. So I want to test to see if the attributes are on there in a different way. So I'm going to say this dot attributes and see what I get from there. And let's try that. And I go in the console and say I get this name node map. And yeah, there's the properties. And the value should be name, and there's the value. So I might just use that instead. Okay, so so the attributes are there, but the get attribute function is not working. Am I spelling it wrong? This dot get attribute name. Let's take a look at get attribute one more time. Get attribute. Yeah, should be working. Let's see what happens if I just do this. If I just take this, our function here, and then do this. We just console log the result of just one of them, see if just one of them is working. No, and it's no. We get the attribute. It doesn't want to do it that way. Okie dokie. Let me think about what's the easy way to do this. I mean, I know there's a way for me to take the attributes object, like that, a list of attributes, and make that work. But that would be a little bit trickier than I really want to get you guys into right now. So let's see here. Let me just take a look into this. Okay, I got the solution. You remember how in the very, like, I think it was the second video, I was going to add the defer tag to components.js, but I chose not to. That was a bad choice. Okay, you do want the defer tag on components.js. Okay, on the script tag. That fixed it. Okay, so now if I were to go back and do this, we now see, there we go, we're getting all the information. Okay, so it was just a matter that it was grabbing it before the data existed. So that was sloppy. Okay, so now we got the data. So now we know that the data exists, and now we want it to show on the screen. We want it, whenever we use this HTML tag, it takes those properties and puts them on the screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to say this dot inner HTML equals, and we're going to use backticks. So and again, backticks are not normal single quotes. This is the special kind of single quote that should be above your tab key. Okay, it's above your tab key. And what this is going to do, okay, it allows you just to write a bunch of HTML if you want. So what we're going to do is just write a bunch of HTML just to test this out. So we're going to say h1, and this h1 is going to have, and then we can actually take our variables and plop them into the template. So like Mad Libs. So I can use $, curly brackets, and say here I want the name variable. Okay, in here I want h2 $get. Okay, and this way we can now see, like, do we see it now? Yeah, there it is. See, my project's Git, or project one Git. Okay, good. This works for me. Okay, it's working. So now we know that we have the variables. We know that we can put in our HTML here. Now what I want to do is use ShoeLace to create a card, because ShoeLace already has a card component. So we'll just make a use of their component. And since that library is loaded before our components.js, we should be able to use it. So let's see here. Okay, and that's kind of what the card will look like. So let's take a look at their code so we can see kind of how that's set up. Okay, so we have to use this this card class. This is like basically the card, like the rectangular thing is this thing here, and then what's inside of it is determined by the code between these SL card. So SL means shoelace, because again, there has to be like 2 words for the component name. So what I'm going to do is we do shoe SL card. Okay, and then we just define our card in there. Okay, and we'll just say h1. We'll put the name in there. Okay, then we would put the picture in there. Image, let me just see how they did the image, just in case they did anything special. Nope, they didn't do anything special with their image. So we just do a normal image tag. So we'll just say source equals, and the source is just going to equal the image from the data. And then we'll have an alt, which will just also equal the name of the project. Okay. Okay, and then there's our image. And then we'll just have some buttons. And then ShoeLace also has buttons, so we'll use their buttons. Let's use a button group, yeah, so that we can have buttons in a group like that. So I'm just going to copy and paste this. Okay, and pop that right in there. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of the middle button because I just want two buttons, one for get, one for... so I'm going to wrap this in an A tag. So a href, which should equal the get URL. So we're going to copy, put the get variable in there. Put the closing A tag, Control X here at the bottom. Okay, Control C, just kind of do the same thing here. Let me just save this so that we can like pretties it up. Oh, not quite. Okay, SL card. And then this one should be the live link. And then we just say the name of this is going to be get, and this is going to be called live. And let's see how this is looking. Okay, and see, we kind of get in there. So not just need to create some space. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the image in a div. Let me just see if they did anything special to do that ahead of time, in case they have a preferred way of doing it. So let's go back to the card. They have that nice picture there. Slot. Oh, okay, so they have a slot for the image. So I'm going to use that. So we'll put that. A slot is like a place where it's kind of pre-built to put in something. So we'll put slot image. So that way it puts it where the image belongs. And let's go back over here. Perfect. Okay. So we see project 1. So it's going to put the image there at the top like it has in here. So see it put the image at the top. And then it's going to be the project 1. And then the two buttons. Doesn't look super pretty now. We can style it a little bit more after the fact. But now we got that working. So now my card. Okay. And then theoretically I could put multiple cards. So that's the cool thing about components. Once you built them, you can just use them over and over again. So for each project, just get some my card. And see, they just show up nice and neat. Okay, so now in the next video, what we're going to do is we're actually going to pull the data from our Excel spreadsheet and generate a card for each one. And we can see how that ends up looking like. Okay, but we kind of have this, and again, we'll come back and style this a little bit more. You guys kind of see where this is going. Okay, I'll allow you guys to spend a little bit more time kind of tweaking it and getting it right where you want it. But with that, let's actually commit and push. So git commit, and this way you can go back and look at my code and see where I was at the end of each video. Git commit cards or card component. Oh, and an add. So git add dot. Just make sure that everything is added. Git status. Git commit dash m card component. That's what we did. And git push origin master. Push that up. So now the code is updated. I'll see you guys in the next video. And actually, let me see that ever actually started showing up on GitHub. Oh, there we go. And see, now it's on github.com. So your site's now live. Every time you push to GitHub, this will just automatically sort of update. Okay, so yeah, neat. I'll see you guys in the next video.